right, we got a bunch of people on live. Welcome everybody to another live paddle review. Sit back, relax, let's talk some pickleball, some paddles. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Topp, the XJ900 and the Reacher paddle. I've been playing with these for the past week or so. I got a really good feel for what these can do. I'm going to tell you all about it. And we're going to talk about Topp as a company. And we have a special guest tonight. We have a visitor from Alabama, Mr. Scott Golden Boy Golden. He's going to be joining us in a few minutes. I'm sure everybody wants to hear what he has to say about his meteoric rise to 4.5. Now playing 5-0 also. So he's going to tell how the Topp paddle helped him rocket to stardom. But first, let's make our boy from Alabama feel comfortable before we bring him on. Here we go. Let's bring on Scott from Alabama, the golden boy himself is waiting to come on. Let's get him right here. Scott should be here. There he is.
Hey, what's up, Jack?
There's your walk-on music.
Sweet. I love that. Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Hey, Scott, could you lift the camera up a little bit? You look like you're sitting in a ditch there. No, the other way. The other way. Yeah, there you go. There you go. And I would like to thank my sponsor for tonight is Pickleball Rocks. Ronnie Grubbs and Pickleball Rocks were kind enough to send me some more hats. Everybody that knows me knows I'm always wearing this neon yellow hat so people could find me in a crowd. But honestly, it's really a well-made hat. It's got that nice big Velcro strap there for guys like me. Got a big head, you know, a lot inside there to keep packaged up. So I want to thank Rodney, and Pickleball Rocks really is the best website out there to get your pickleball related attire, t-shirts. I know you have a few, Scott. You know, high quality stuff. So check it out, pickleballrocks.com. So let's welcome Mr. Scott, the Golden Boy Golden. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing great, Jack, here in Alabama. I know you're over in Atlanta, Georgia, about 2.5 hours from me. And for anybody wondering, yes, this is my living room. Yes, that is a Topp sign behind me hanging up. However, Chelsea does not allow me to have this up all the time. This is a special event tonight. She's not home, and so I snuck it up on the wall. It's a big banner, Steve.
All right, we got to hope she doesn't see this video.
I hope not.
You might have to airbrush that out later.
Yeah, she might kill me.
So, Scott, tonight we're going to be talking about you're a sponsored Topp player. You use this Topp XJ900, and also later we're going to be talking about the Topp Reacher, which is a great blade type paddle, and we'll be talking about that a little later. But we'll start with the XJ900. But first, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to hook up with Steve Wong and with Topp?
Okay. It was back. I started playing about October of 2016. And from what I remember date-wise, this was right before I went to a tournament in North Carolina. Marcus Luke was actually going to be, and Nate Guy were hosting a tournament up there. I had committed to go up there and play with a partner, and so it was about a 7-hour drive. Well, backing up just a little bit before that tournament, I had been looking for someone to team up with that I felt like was a good fit for me. I had been talking previously with Onyx, just in conversation about potential sponsorship, but everything happens for a reason, and that didn't pan out for one reason or another. And so I saw when Steve Wong he put out something on the Pickleball forum back, I think it was early last spring, back in 2017, that he was releasing the XJ900, and I immediately sent him a Facebook message, and I basically said, hey, give me a call when you get a chance. Here's my cell phone number. And he called me pretty quick. I think it was the same day. And I basically told him this. I said, hey, I'm playing here in Alabama. I'm getting better each time I play. I feel like I'm close to being someone who could be sponsored by a company. And but actually, I didn't really have that specific conversation at that moment. But what I did say to him, though, was, hey, I want something that's not on the East Coast yet. I want to be the biggest sales rep for you. That's how I kind of went at him at first, was just I wanted to be a sales rep. So that's kind of how the conversation began. And then from there, you know, he just really was open to it. And we got rocking, and I actually got the paddles and took them up to that North Carolina tournament. I paid money out of my pocket, set up a booth, and that's kind of how it started from there.
Okay, and a lot of people don't realize it, but Steve Wong used to be with Onyx, and he's got a long history. He's like one of the founding fathers of pickleball. I mean, he co-founded, he was part of usapa.org when they went on the web. I think he was a webmaster or something like that. He was involved with usapa.org. Steve was one of the first pickleball, pros to actually start competing and officially be called a pro. So he's been involved with pickleball since way back mid 2000s, 2005 or so, and he's co-founded this Topp company, and hopefully we're going to get Steve on with us a little bit later. He's going to try to join us, so that'd be great if we could hear from him, but I'm not sure if he's going to make it. But anyway, Steve has taught many of the guys that are top pros today, taught them how to play. He used to coach pickleball, and he's taught a lot of the up-and-coming players. So he's really been a foundation of the sport. And with Topp Pickleball, they continue to try and grow the sport of pickleball. Now, Scott, do you know what TOPP stands for?
I do. When I first found out about the Topp company and Steve Wong, I did not. But obviously now that I'm a sponsored player with them and also a dealer, that stands for Tomorrow's Pickleball Pledge. The TO is the abbreviated for tomorrow, and then obviously the PP is Pickleball Pledge. So that's actually what it stands for.
That is correct. Tomorrow's Pickleball Pledge. And what that means is the Topp company is really trying to give back to the game and to grow the game. They also do a really nice thing, which is they donate a portion of their profits to charities. So I think they give to breast cancer awareness. They give to a few other charities. So, when you buy, and also, this product is made in the USA. Right there, you can see it. So, why not support a company that does things right, that gives back to the community, that's trying to grow the sport of pickleball, instead of just, throwing your money away to any old company. You could feel really good about it when you buy a Topp paddle, and you know that you're going to help a really good cause. And Steve Wong is really, he's putting out some quality products that we're going to talk about right now. And let me just give the specs out of these two paddles in case people are wondering The XJ900 is 15.5 inches long, but it's wider than most. It's 8 3/8 inches wide. So you can see the shape is very almost like a square, almost as wide as it is long. And it's got a 5-inch handle, so it's got a nice size handle for you guys with big hands, and you know who you are. And it's got the poly core, and it's got a composite face. And it comes in 7.6 to 8.2 ounces. So between 7.6 and 8.2, everybody's going to find a weight that they really like. And I'm sure Topp will work with you to try to get that weight that you want if you request a certain weight. To me, a little bit, 7 3/4 is my sweet spot. All the way up to 8 ounces is great. So this paddle falls right into my comfort zone. And the Reacher is the same handle length. I'm sorry, no, the handle is a little bit shorter because it's a long paddle, but this one is 16 inches long, so, and 7.5 inches wide. So this is basically the same specs as like your blade paddle from Engage. It's the same weight as the XJ900. So these are great options if you're somebody that likes to have one paddle for doubles and one paddle for singles. They're both the same weight, so they're not going to feel too different other than the shape. So it's just something to think about for you guys that like to play singles. So let's start, Scott, with the XJ900. Now, what did you come from before you switched to this paddle? What were you using before?
I started out when I first started playing with a Paddle Tech Tempest Wave. And then after that, I switched to a very similar paddle with Selkirk. I believe it's the S. I can't remember, something with a 30. I can't remember. It's a great paddle. So I switched to that one.
Yeah, the Epic. I think it's the Epic 30.
Yes,
maybe?
Yeah, that's it. The Epic 30. I played with that and really enjoyed it. And then at some point, I transitioned to a Paddle Tech TS5. Which I always said it was like the little brother or the little cousin to the EXL or
the Bantam.
Yeah, so I played with that right before I switched to Topp. And quite honestly, I had gotten really comfortable with that TS5. It's very light, it's very small. But while I was trying to figure out the dink game and how to be consistent with that, I kept noticing I was missing some dinks on the outside perimeter because the face of that paddle is a little smaller. So I kept mishitting. I just figured out, like, I love that paddle for the lightweight and the way I can just, whip it through the air and hit overhead. But as far as the dinking, I really did start figuring out I was struggling with that. A lot of mishits. So when Steve came out with the XJ900, the wide body, I knew it was something that I would probably like, but honestly, it took me about 2 months of playing with it before I really started getting comfortable playing with it and really starting to enjoy it. And when I sell a paddle, an XJ900 to somebody, that's what I tell them. I say, hey, look, give it 2 months, play with it regularly. Do not, go back, switch it back and forth. Just commit to it. Go with it all out for 2 months, and then if you don't like it after that, call me and we'll talk about doing something different. So that's basically the transition for me, was about 2 months of consistent play.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a while to get comfortable with the paddle. I mean, if you pick up something and you try it and you hate it right off the bat, there's no reason to go further with it. But if it's even slightly intriguing to you, and the specs are good, the weight and the balance are good, I always tell people to give it time and see if you really like it. See if it lets you play your best game with it eventually. And if it doesn't, there's plenty of other choices out there. But like you said, give it a chance. But the thing about the XJ900, now this paddle really reminded me of like an Engage Encore Pro. The composite face is really hot. I mean, the ball really shoots off this paddle quickly. You don't really feel that soft grab or that soft cushion like you might with the Tempest. The ball really rockets off this face, which it helps you a lot when you're in the kitchen and you see that ball that's just floating up there, and you just give it a little pop and the ball speeds right through the court. So This paddle has a lot of power. I definitely, you know, the scale of power to control, I definitely think this is, you know, leaning towards the power side. So, which is not a bad thing. I mean, the Encore is a great paddle. A lot of people like it. And anybody that likes composite paddles, like the Encore, you know, like the Selkirk, the S1C, which I used to play with, this is very similar to that. Except the difference with this paddle is you have the extra width. So I think this is going to help people that maybe struggle with their blocking. You have a lot more, you know, when you're at the kitchen line and someone's firing at you, you got a lot more paddle here, both ways, this way and this way, to block shots back with. And, you know, it gives you a nice, it has a nice wide, because it's wider, the sweet spot is wider. So like you said, you used to miss a lot, you know, maybe on the outer edges here, which do you find that with this top paddle, you're not hitting as many of those miss hits now?
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. That's one of the big selling points for me that sold me. And also when I talk to new people, this paddle, and I don't want to take words out of Steve Wong's mouth, but just from conversations with Steve and just kind of knowing about how Steve operates, he is looking to create a paddle that's for a beginner, just stepping on the court, learning how to play pickleball, all the way up to a 4.5 or 5.0 player like myself who wants a big surface area because I don't come from a racket sport background. So squash and racquetball and tennis and all that is not in my background. So one of the things I really struggled with early while I was figuring the game out was being up at that kitchen line. I was a little nervous up there because I didn't feel comfortable blocking shots back and that kind of thing. So if you're somebody who is a little hesitant up at the kitchen, this paddle, this lot of surface area right here is something that really does keep the miss hits down. It allows you to feel comfortable keeping that paddle up in front of you, and it's a lot of area to block. And I still do miss hit the ball, of course, but it's just a lot less than what I remember. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, whenever I try a new paddle, I think to myself, what's different about this? What would make me pick this over all the other paddles out there? And there's not that many that are wide like this. There's the Engage wide body. I forget what that's called. They have a wide paddle like this. But this one is very, very user friendly. And like you said, it's easy for a beginner to use. It's easy for, you know, all the way up to a pro player it's not going to slow you down. You pick up this paddle, you know, a lot of people when they start playing, they say, I want to get a paddle, but, you know, then they want to get rid of it, get something better once they get better. You won't have to get rid of this one. You just work on your game, get your game better, and you're living proof of that. I mean, you're playing some 5-0 now, right? And
yes,
if anybody knows you, they know how much, you know, a lot of times I have pros on here, you know, famous names. Not that you're not famous, you're pretty famous in the pickleball community. But I mean, anybody that knows Scott Golden knows how much he wants to win. He will do anything to win. So he is not going to pick up just any old paddle.
That's right.
So, I mean, if you know him, you know what a great competitor he is. He tries to get every single ball that is hit back over that net. And he is not going to sacrifice his wins and losses for any old paddle. So I think that's a great endorsement for the Topp brand because if it wasn't working for you, I think you would have moved on by now.
Yeah, definitely. And what's funny is the other day I was having a conversation with somebody and they asked me, they were new to pickleball, and they asked me if I wasn't sponsored by Topp, what paddle would I play with? And my immediate response was still the Topp paddle, because especially this XJ900, because for two reasons. Number one, I've gotten used to that wide body, so I really do like that. I enjoy that feature of the paddle. And keep in mind, I've used a lot of different paddles since I started playing about a year and 3 months ago. So it's not that just because I'm sponsored doesn't mean that I don't like other paddles. I do. I think the other paddles out there, there's some great paddles. But this one for my game, it really fits. It fits well. But here's the flip side of the coin, Jack. I've sold a bunch of these paddles everywhere I travel. I travel all over, not as much as Kyle and some of these pros do, but On my wallet, as much as I can, I travel to all these different places. I haven't been out west yet. I'm coming for you, Glenn Lucy. I'm coming for you. But anyway, everywhere I go, if I sell a paddle, you know, the biggest thing is I get feedback from these people. I don't just sell them a paddle and then just never talk to them again. I get their information. I message them. I text them. I keep in touch with them for two reasons. Number one, I want to build a relationship with them, and I want them to tell other people and their family and friends. But also, I want to find out if 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 6 months from now, they're still playing with the XJ900. And the thing is, I haven't sold one paddle, and this is the honest truth. I haven't sold one paddle where somebody's come back to me after 3 or 4 months and said, hey, I really just don't like this paddle. The feedback that I'm getting is, hey, I love this paddle. This paddle is fantastic. But let me go into this real quick, Jack, if you don't mind. There's three big things that I really, really do love about Topp and what they're producing. They don't have a huge line of products yet. They have 2 paddles.
Right.
But one thing you notice right away, and this is what caught my attention right away, Topp, it's very clean. If you notice the logo, the brand, it's not something that's too flashy, and it's not just a basic paddle either. The first thing that struck me when I saw it was the look. It's clean, it's fresh, and it's very straight to the point. Topp, and it's got their logo, and I loved the red, white, and blue colors. Okay, my dad was actually 20 years in the military, so that.
By the way, let me just add that this does come in 4 color schemes. So you got your green and blue like this, and you got your red and blue, and you got your pink and blue for the ladies or the guys, and you got the yellow and blue. So you got 4 color choices, and right, they only have a couple paddles right now, but that means they could really focus on what they're putting out.
That's right. So yes, sir, that's exactly right. So the first thing that caught my attention was the look. It's very clean. The second thing was the price point that he talked to me about selling this paddle in the market at $85. Guys, that you have to understand, the competitors, the similar paddles that are made with this kind of quality are upwards of $90 to $110. I mean, that's the price point for those other paddles. The first thing Steve told me, he said, I do not want you selling this paddle too high. He said, I want to keep the price point very reasonable for the beginner coming into play that wants to invest in something, but also somebody who understands investing in an $85 paddle. But you get a lot of bang for your buck. It's not a low quality paddle by any means. And $85 may sound like a lot to some people, especially if they're new and they don't quite know yet what paddles sell for. But I can promise you this: there's not been one person that's been unhappy with spending $85 on this XJ900, and that's not me talking. That's the feedback that I'm getting. It's a lot of bang for their buck. And then the third thing is obviously the way it plays. I have fallen in love with the way this paddle plays, and that's not to say that other paddles out there don't play similar or better. It's just that the wide body for me has really, really helped increase my game. The biggest advantage that I see with it is the blocking, and then the dinking at the net. When you're up at that kitchen line and the dinking, it seems like the mishits are less there too. Just that wide surface area that you can get on the ball, it just seems to help. I don't know what it, other than just to say it like that. It helps, you know?
Yeah, the things that stand out for me are, it's just a great all-around paddle. Like you said, it does it all. It doesn't really, you know, it'll take your game wherever you want to take it. It's got, like I said, it's got a big, wide sweet spot. It's easy to use. It's a very predictable response. The ball doesn't fly off it uncontrollably. You know, you can measure your shots pretty well. Like you said, it's a great value for $85. It's really a high-quality product. You know, the power's good. You get nice, easy depth on your ground strokes, on your serves, on your returns. You get a nice, fast response off the face. The spin is pretty good. There's spinnier paddles out there, but, you know, it has a pretty, you know, a little bit of a texture there. Kind of like the Encore, maybe not as rough, but the advantage to that, a lot of people don't realize that. They're always, you know, I want a rough paddle, I want a rough paddle, I want to spin the ball. But the problem with that is, with the rough paddle, when the spin is coming at you, it deflects off like crazy. So it makes it harder to play defense when people are spinning the ball at you. So
Absolutely.
if you want a rough paddle, you better be able to handle, you better be able to spin the ball yourself, but not only that, you got to handle the incoming spin because it magnifies that. So when you got a paddle like this, that's just got a little texture and it's kind of smooth, it lets you do both. It lets you defend well and it lets you add a little spin. And let's face it, spinning the ball like crazy is not going to win a lot of pickleball games. So, but getting the ball back over the net will, and that's what this is really good at. It's it's decent, got decent feel for the touch and feel game in the kitchen. Are there softer paddles out there? Yeah, there are. But like I said, this one does everything well. So all you people out there that are fans of powerful composite paddles, I really think they should try this one out. And if you have anything else to say about this paddle, Scott, if not, I'd like to talk about the Reacher for a few minutes.
Sure. Just one little plug. I had mentioned this on the thing we were promoting with earlier. The promo is Golden Boy 37. If you are interested in getting a paddle from me, I'm a dealer with Topp, so feel free to send me a private message on Facebook, get a hold of me, and mention that you saw the live review with Jack Vandal on Pickleball Paddle Reviews, and say the words Golden Boy 37, and I will let you know what that promotion is if you're interested, and we'll get you a paddle out to your house as soon as possible.
To your house. All right. Good job. Will you be personally delivering that paddle to people's houses?
If they're close enough. If they're in Atlanta, it might be a little while. I get over there about once a month probably. So if you're
all right,
the country in California, I'm probably just going to ship it.
A quick word from our sponsor, Pickleball Rocks, the best apparel website on the web for pickleball apparel. All right, back to the program. All right, let's talk about the Reacher, the other paddle that we were going to discuss from Topp. Now, this is for a lot of you guys like to play singles. This is a great singles paddle. It's got the same weight as the XJ900, 7.6 to 8.2 ounces, but it's the maximum length that you can get. Now, if you're familiar with the Blade paddle, this is very, very similar to the Blade. But in playing with this, I found this to be a little more forgiving than the Blade. I'm not sure what it is, but these paddle, both of these paddles are very forgiving. The sweet spot is not as big as this one, and of course it's not going to be because the paddle's not as wide. But for a Blade type paddle, I thought this one was very user friendly, and I recommend anybody that likes these type of paddles, that maybe likes the Blade, likes the Gauge Max, the Selkirk Maxima, check this one out. And this is also $85, Scott.
This one actually retails,
I think it is, right?
This one actually retails for $90. I'm not sure exactly the reason for the final increase, but again, if they use Golden Boy 37, I'll give them a promotion right now. They can get it a little cheaper.
Now, you play a lot of singles. I know that. Have you ever tried this for singles?
I have, yes. Only in rec play. I haven't used it for a tournament yet, mainly because once I get comfortable with a certain paddle, meaning the XJ900, I like to try to keep that consistency. But in rec games locally in Birmingham, Alabama, where I play, I have absolutely used this for singles. And one of the big things I enjoy about the longer paddle, this one's called the Reacher, the reason I really like it with my serves, I seem to be able to get a lot more whipping action. I don't know if it's just because the way the paddle's designed, it lends itself to being able to really whip that serve. And so it gets a lot of top spin, and it's whipping deep down at the opponent's feet. And a lot of times it'll catch them on like a short hop or backing up, and then I can do more with that next shot. So I do really enjoy it for singles. Very, very good with ground strokes. It's got that shorter handle. If a person's coming over from racquetball, I'm fairly confident they would like this paddle because of the feel. This paddle, to me, I tell you, it can create a couple bad habits if you're playing doubles with it, in my opinion, because it lends itself to hitting the ball hard. So in singles, it's fantastic because you can just rip the ball. You can hit ripping shots down the line. I can even get some top spin. And I don't come from tennis, so top spin is extremely difficult for a guy like me who doesn't come from that background. So for singles, I love it. Absolutely love this paddle. I would recommend getting an XJ900 for the doubles. This one, the Reacher for singles, unless you're Eaton, which is a sponsored player out west. He plays his doubles with this, and he loves it, he said. So he has found the niche with it in doubles.
I mean, there's guys that play, they play doubles and singles with the long skinny paddle, but it's definitely it definitely takes a little more skill. But some older folks like the long paddle just for the extra reach. If you're a little bit vertically challenged, it gives you a little more reach up here, to reach those overheads. So you just got to try it and see if it works for your game. But like I said, if you're a fan of these blade type paddles, even at $90, this is a great value. And it's, like I said, it's similar to the blade, but I thought it was a little easier to use, a little more forgiving. And it plays similar to the XJ900 in respect to the power. It's the same composite, same polycore. So you got good power with it, just like the other paddle. And the feel on contact when you hit the center of the paddle is about the same. And it, like you said, it's great for singles. I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of this shape of paddle, or if you've never tried one of these long skinny paddles before. This is probably one of the more user-friendly ones out there. So,
hey, Jeff,
check it out.
I think it's worth mentioning that Steve Wong and Topp Pickleball Incorporated, they are coming out or have come out recently with a graphite version. So it's not just composite anymore. They're actually branching out to the XJ900. I believe is going to be have a graphite version, and also this as well.
Oh, nice. I was not aware of that. Did we see Steve out there?
I have not seen Steve yet. I don't know if he's going to be coming on or not. I know he mentioned earlier that he was playing in the Grand Canyon State Games, so I'm sure he's either exhausted or maybe he's still on the court playing. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap things up here. We had a lot of people on live tonight, so I hope everybody enjoyed it. Anything you want to add, Scott? One last question for you. How did it play for you with different balls? I know you play a lot of indoors. You play outdoors. How did the XJ90? Do you find it's good for both indoor and outdoor play with the different balls?
Yes, I do. I do think it plays well with both. I tend to play better outdoor now. I don't know why. My game's gotten a lot better outdoor. I'm still consistent and effective with the paddle indoor. I feel like you can hit those indoor balls a little harder and they still kind of stay in. You can hit with a little more, oomph, if you will. And in outdoor, you have to have a little more finesse, it seems like, because of the way the ball's made and then just the outdoor conditions. But yeah, it plays consistent no matter what game you're playing, whether it be indoor, outdoor, and whatever ball you're using. We've recently been using the X40, the Franklin X40 outdoor. We used the Onyx Pure 2 indoor ball, and we also use the Pure 2 outdoor when we're playing in some different conditions, just depending on the scenario. Also, one other thing I wanted to throw out there, Jack, I wanted to have a little fun with the people watching. I came from a flag football background, which has nothing to do with paddle sports.
Right.
I played competitively for 10 years. And just like the fire and the passion and the energy that I take with the pickleball, it was even more so when I played flag football for 10 years, and it was in my 20s. So I was a lot faster, younger, more athletic, I feel like. So I would rush the quarterback. So my job every snap, when the ball snapped, was to basically just be relentless at the quarterback, just go after him over and over and over. And that's what I was good at. I mean, rushing the quarterback was really my thing. And so we had a team from Alabama that traveled all over the nation and played in some really big tournaments. We played for $5,000 back, it would have been last January. My point is, through doing that and through meeting people, I developed a nickname in flag football. And so what I'm going to do, if anybody watching can tell me what my nickname was for flag football, and I'll give one hint before we stop talking about this, but if they can, the first person to post it on the comments, I'll ship a free juggie to them. I'm also a juggie dealer. These are fantastic products. These retail for about $35, and they're worth every penny. Actually, I keep mine for work, for play with pickleball. Everywhere I go, I've got one. But anyway, if they'll name it my nickname right, then I'll ship this out to them free, right to their doorstep. And my one hint is the nickname is a cartoon. So the animal that they nicknamed me after is actually a cartoon. So that's the one hint that I'll give you.
Do I get a guess?
Yeah. If you want to guess it, go for it.
A cartoon?
Yeah, it was a cartoon that they nicknamed.
The Roadrunner. The Roadrunner.
Close, but that is not correct.
Ooh. I could have used that juggie.
I know. These are
all right, Scott.
Fantastic.
All right, Scott, thanks for coming on. I think we gave the folks a lot of info on these two paddles. The Topp XJ900, made in the USA. The Reacher paddle. Check them out. I think you'll really be surprised by the quality you get for the money that you spend. Check out, I have an article right now in the current issue of Pickleball magazine. If you need a little help on how to go about picking a paddle, I wrote an article. It's in the January, February issue. How to pick the perfect paddle. It takes you through all the process of elimination. I think it'll really help people out there. Check out my webpage, pickleballpaddlereviews.net, not .com. Don't go to that guy.
Not .com.
He's no good.
Oh, no.
.net. And all my reviews are there. There's a whole bunch from there now. My YouTube channel under the same name. Just go Google Pickleball Paddle Reviews in YouTube. You should find my channel. And Scott, if you want to give that code one last time, and then we'll see everybody next time.
All right. The code is GoldenBoy37. And Jack, as you were talking at the end here, I've seen some really good guesses on my nickname, and it looks like we've already got a winner. Alex. Congratulations, Alex Ditmore. Send me a private message on Facebook, Alex. I'll ship this thing right out to you. I've got 3 colors, black, red, and blue on the juggies. It's going to be brand new, shipped straight to your door on my ticket. So just let me know. Send me that message. Congratulations on guessing. The nickname.
What was the answer?
Huh?
What was the answer?
Alex guessed Tasmanian Devil, and that was my nickname. They nicknamed me Tasmanian Devil. You were close.
I was going to say Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, if I would have given you 2 guesses, you would have won the free juggie.
Do I get one more guess?
Yes, go ahead.
I think I might have. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody.